Football. From the Latin futium volumius, meaning football. More than a game, more than an obsession, more than a feeling. To be or not to be a fan, that is the question. To sleep, perchance to dream and end the heartache of a shock result. And to ask yourself again and again, is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality, that this is football.
And this is me, Chick Young, inviting you to join me in Only an Excuse, Chico's Hall of Fame, where my guest this week is Barry Ferguson. Barry, as a newspaper columnist in a newspaper, do you enjoy being a warrior poet and eloquent wordsmith?
Aye. Know what I mean?
As a man of few words, regularly required to talk in the podcast circuit, is it sometimes difficult to embody such a dichotomy?
No. Know what I'm saying?
Barry Ferguson, Captain Marvel for the glorious Glasgow Rangers. Younger brother of Derek Ferguson, another Rangers legend, but no relation to other Rangers legends, Duncan Ferguson, Ian Ferguson, the good-looking one, or Ian Ferguson, the scary-looking one. And one other famous ex-Rangers Ferguson that you're not related to is Sir Alex.
Oh yes, it's a good footballing name, Ferguson, I can think of quite a few decent players called Ferguson, and at least one outstanding manager. And I would have loved to have signed Barry and brought him to Old Trafford, But that old adage rings true. No man is bigger than Manchester United, and no Ferguson is bigger than this Ferguson.
Great rival on the park, Celtic's Neil Lennon.
I've been in a few right good scrapes on the pitch with Barry. He's been a worthy opponent. There was a mutual respect there. We'd battle, we'd brawl, scrap, flick fingers. Stick tongues out and snarl, bark and carpet each other. Then we'd shake hands at full time and count down the minutes to when we got to do it all again.
So Barry, before we delve into your past, what is happening in your sensational current present?
Well, Chick, currently now, I am in football management with Kelty Hearts.
And just remind our listeners, where's that?
It's in Fife, I think.
And of course another famous football man hails from that quaint, picturesque town in the kingdom. A man whose words are poetry to my nostrils. Jim Leishman.
You'll hear you. That's right, Chick. As far as Barry goes, I'll make a prediction. When spring comes round and the sun comes out and the frost and snow turns melty, Barry will be pushing for the very top with the wee jambos frae Kelty. There you go.
Well, Barry, Jim Leishman seems to be buying into what you're doing, but for the benefit of our listeners who couldn't give it to us, what colours do Kelty Hearts play in?
Maroon.
And what's the colours of their away strip?
Blue.
I must remember to purchase a bobble hat and those away colours from the Kelty Club shop just to keep my napper warm and to do my bit for grassroots football, you understand. And talking of grassroots, do you feel community football is important for a community like the Kelty community?
Well, Chick, I think football in the local community is crucial because it brings a sense of community to the local community.
Good. That's the community stuff covered. Now, Bazza, let's talk about your time at Rangers. Growing up as a youngster and looking ahead to becoming an oldster, you witnessed Ferguson's senior, Derek, breaking into the Rangers' first team. Was it always your ambition to do so too?
Oh, aye. See, I grew up a right good bear, and
And all Deke's tales about playing football for Rangers, it just sounded magic. You know what I mean?
Was there instant pressure on you to be every bit the player he was? Did Derek lay it on heavy?
No, he's no heavy. He's my bra.
Those in the know identified your talent as prodigious, a Mozart of the midfield. What was it like breaking into the Ibrox dressing room at an early age?
Well, you know, these guys were my heroes. You know what I mean? You know, Deke was my hero and also my brother. Then there was Durante and Coisty, or to give them their full names, Ian Durante and Ali McCoisty.
What an education for any young footballer being initiated into that squad. I imagine you learned a lot from this collection of model pros.
Oh, aye, they were big in initiations and that. You know, I mind after my first training session with the first team, they nailed my shoes to the flare, stitched kippers into the lining of my good jacket, and then turned my motor upside down and slashed all the tyres. I had to walk home to my home in Hamilton and my stocking soles stinking of fish. Just magic times. And, you know, excellent preparation for becoming a professional athlete.
One wily old fox spotted your talents right from the start. Sir Walter Smith.
Well, you know, Barry was always mature beyond his years, you know. Particularly when he broke into the team, you know, he was only 19. But he moaned like an old man in his 80s, you know.
Just a wee reminder that you're listening to Only an Excuse, Chico's Hall of Fame. Barry, in your breakthrough season 1998 to 99, Rangers won the league and you flourished alongside talents from across the world and around the corner. Everyone from Giovanni Van Bronckhorst to Scott Wilson. And the man you took the captaincy from, Big Ammo.
Ah, see, you know, Barry Ferguson, he's a good friend to Amaruso, you know. When I come to Scotland, he made me feel welcome, you know, by giving me a good Scottish nickname to help me settle in, you know. He called me Big Fud. He's very nice, you know.
How did it feel being made a Rangers captain at such a tender age of just 22?
There was a lot to get my head round, Chick. You know what I mean? Dick Advocat, the gaffer, he goes, "Do you want the armband?" And I goes, "I'm not going to the swimming baths." And he goes, "No, you're the skipper." And I went, "Dancer." And he went, "No, skipper." And I went, "Aye, Bazza." And he went, "What?" But we got there in the end.
Former gaffer Dick Advocat had this to say.
What? No, yes. Yes. Well, Barry Ferguson, listen, you know, I remember I said to him, I said, "Barry, I'm going to make you captain." And he said to me, "No full time." And, you know, I like that in a player. Humility.
In 2001, change was afoot at Rangers. Dick Advocat had moved upstairs to become director of upstairs, and that ushered in Alex McLeish to have his ginger hair quickly turn grey as manager.
Yes, my Rangers team were a team not just of winners, but also bad losers. You know, Barry Ferguson, Craig Moore, Shota Avaladze, Arthur Newman, Bert Conterman. They used to ask me, "Gaffer, which one of us is the worst loser?" Which was a nightmare because whoever I didn't pick would take it really badly and go in the huff.
Barry, do you have a favourite goal from your first spell at Rangers? Many say it was that free kick equaliser in the 2002 Old Firm Scottish Cup final.
Aye, that equalising goal was a brammer. Because see, I mean when I placed the ball down outside the box for the free kick, I got this urge to pass it sideways, as usual. But instead, I just pure booted it into the net. You know what I mean?
One opposition manager who oft remembers those top-of-the-table tussles at the turn of the millennium is former Celtic boss Martin O'Neill.
No, listen, seriously. I remember after one victory against Rangers, suddenly there was ice flying everywhere in our dugout. I thought, what's going on? Has the Titanic struck another iceberg? But no, it was just some of the Rangers representatives politely and respectfully disagreeing with the final score. But eventually we needed that ice. We really did. To chill all the champagne we popped at the culmination of the season. So I'd like to publicly express my gratitude to whoever propelled that ice in our direction.
Barry, you'd become a regular at Rangers, you'd won every trophy in Scotland, and you'd been voted Player of the Year. So, like a hungry Highland cow seeking out fresh grass to chomp, it was time to try pastures new. In 2003, Graham Souness took you to England as part of his Blackburn Revolution.
Yeah, for sure. With Barry in my team, I had big plans for Blackburn Rangers. And at the end of the season, 2003, 2004, those dreams came true when the club comfortably secured a finish in English football's top 6 team.
Aye, the football was pure different in England, man. You know what I mean? Games would kick off at noon on a Sunday and 8 on a Monday and 7 on a Wednesday. Well, I suppose it was magic for me, as it allowed me my Saturdays free to follow the Rangers game and the CFAX, and shout at the telly.
And what about on the park? Adaptability-wise, how did the adaptable Bazza adapt to the English game?
The players in the English league, they were better. And I say that meaning no disrespect to the players in Scotland. Although I did come up against hundreds of shanners up here,
One unwritten rule of football is that you never go back. But you ripped up that unwritten rule when you returned from Rovers to Rangers in 2005. What fates of destiny conspired to bring you back to Ibrox for a second time?
Well, the Blackburn board and the Rangers board had a powwow, you know what I mean? And the upshot was that Blackburn didn't need to pay their final catalogue payment for me. And so I was free to come back up the road.
Barry, 2 words. Helicopter Sunday. Sum up your feelings and emotions on Helicopter Sunday.
Oh, it was brilliant. It was brilliant, man. I mean, that Sunday in my holidays in Florida, when I got a shot in a helicopter, unforgettable. So it was, man. I got a go at driving it and everything.
I was talking about the other Helicopter Sunday. That Sunday in 2005, that Sunday the championship was decided on the final day and the silverware was delivered by helicopter to you and the jubilant Rangers team on a Sunday.
Oh, right, that helicopter Sunday. Oh, aye, well, see when I seen the helicopter up in the sky heading east the road, I was feeling confident that, we would get the trophy. But I didn't take anything for granted because we were still playing the game and I was still a wee bit feared Big Marvin Andrews might hit the chopper with a clearance. You know what I mean?
At Ibrox, you built up a tremendous working relationship with many different managers. Dick Advocaat, Alex McLeish and Paul Le Guen, to name but 2. And now, exclusively for the Hall of Fame, we can hear the memories of one Paul Le Guen.
Well, I think it was Jean-Jacques Rousseau who said, no man has any natural authority over his fellow man. That was certainly the case for me in Scotland when that man was me. The natural authority was being manager of Rangers, and the fellow man was Barry Ferguson. But je ne regrette rien, and c'est la vie.
Barry, would you agree? How do you feel about the words of Jean-Jacques Rousseau?
I've never met Jean-Jacques Rousseau. He must have played under Paul Le Guen at Lyon.
Pulling out Chico's big Casio calculator, totting up your appearances in both spells and summing up your time at Ibrox, a plethora of players felt the benefit of playing alongside Barry Ferguson, one retired Scotland legend who watched on with wonder as Dennis Law.
Well, Barry Ferguson, I mean, what a player, honestly, what a player. He was so proficient at that time, on the pitch, and I would have loved him to have played at another time on another pitch alongside me, the mongoose for Scotland, or get this, even Huddersfield Town, and not true, that's how good Barry was, he could have played alongside me for Huddersfield Town, Now, why do I say that? 'Cause, well, he brought the best out of his teammates, for instance, at Rangers, he was with the boy De Boer, yeah? Now, when Barry was running the show at that time from midfield, De Boer was everywhere. De Boer was in defence, De Boer was in attack. I mean, honestly, you'd have thought there was two of them. And in my eyes, there was, And I think that's all down to Barry Ferguson,
You're listening to Only an Excuse, Chico's Hall of Fame. Barry, allow me to metaphorically slip into my kilt and tartan bonnet, drape myself in a saltire, pull on my lion rampant slippers and talk international football. Back in the late 1990s, you were a rookie newbie breaking into the Rangers team. So quid pro quo, as quo follows quid, night follows day, and a big rift follows a bean feast. Soon you would do the same for our national team. In early 1998, we were in the unusual position of preparing for a World Cup finals. Craig Brown takes up the story.
Yes, I was very much aware of the young Barrington Ferguson busting onto the scene. The midfielder was knocking on the door of being involved in taking part in my overall squad selection thought process, but he lacked that key attribute that so many of that France 98 Scotland squad possessed. He wasn't over 30.
Sensationally, you stole the show against the old enemy in a Euro 2000 playoff at Wembley in 1999. You took the right royal mince out of David Beckham and Scotland triumphed 1-0.
Aye, it was a shame we lost in aggregate, but you know this, I was proud to be Scottish that night. We proved that we Scots could take on and beat the best with a goal scored by Englishman Don Hutchison.
Chico has donned his wetsuit and flippers for a deep dive into your entire career. So, I'm afraid I'm about to touch upon a time that listeners may find distressing. At this point, I would encourage young children to leave the room. In fact, I understand if, dear listener, you feel the need to turn to another source of audio entertainment. Those of a nervous disposition, listen away now because, deep breath, here we go. It's time to discuss Scotland, the Bertie Votes years.
Oh no, pure tear gas, know what I mean?
Barry, I do indeed know what you mean. South Korea 4, Scotland 1. Wales 4, Scotland 0. Netherlands 6, Scotland 0. I could go on, but I feel the pain is too much for my soul to take and my voice box will cease to function. Barry, what for you was the nadir of that lowest ebb?
Well, you had to watch it, Chick, but it was worse for me. I had to play through it. I mind we were playing the Faroe Islands in Tofter, and Scotland were 2-0 down at half time.
I'm getting flashbacks, the agony of it all. I'm sure even Bertie Vogt still has nightmares.
Yeah, for sure. It was not so good. All those posties and trawlermen giving the runaround to some of the flair players in my team, like Kevin Kyle and Scott Dobie. Thankfully, Barry Ferguson and Paul Lambert both scored in the second half, and we got a very, very respectable draw. Yeah, I'll tell you, I was glad of that, because we were meeting local dignitaries after the game, and I didn't want to lose to the Faroe Islands and then be introduced as a loser to the Pharaoh himself.
Then, Barry, in 2009, you were involved in a night of infamous scandal that will forever be linked to infamy. Of all the gates that you have ever gated, this gate was Boozegate. You were caught drinking throughout the night at the team hotel while on Scotland duty. What are your memories of that night? And can you remember any?
Well, aye, because see Holland had just beat us 3-0, right? And we were effectively out of another major tournament, so we were, just drowning in our sorrows. Now, I played for Scotland right through the 2000s, so you have to take into account just how many sorrows I had to drown.
Yes, Boozegate was big news at the time. Scotland stars old and new were enthralled by the details, including former Celtic and West Ham legend Frank McAvenny.
Boozegate? Shocker, Rooney. Frankie boy followed it all. Oh, aye. The late night, the indiscipline, the bevy. I just saw, come on, boys. Where's the balls? And for a penny and for a pound, if you're going to be daft boys on the randan, you may as well do it in style.
So, Barry, like an owl looking back on your time with Scotland and using the wisdom of another owl, what advice do you have for the nation?
Me personally, I don't think we're as committed to football in this country as much as we say we are. I look at Brazil, they are so committed to football that they cut down 10 football pitches worth of rainforest every 5 minutes. It's a big thing that,
When one thinks of footballing dynasties, one immediately thinks of the new Ferguson on the block, your nephew, Aberdeen midfielder Lewis. We recently caught up with the young Ferguson pretender, and the first thing I asked him was, did he see any similarities between him and his Uncle Barry?
No way. No, I mean.
That was Lewis Ferguson, midfielder with Aberdeen. Hang on, stop the bus, better future-proof this for the weeks and months ahead. That was Lewis Ferguson, midfielder with Rangers. Here we go, just in case. You're listening to Only an Excuse, Chico's Hall of Fame. Barry, moving forward, I'd like to take you back to 2008 and your 400th appearance for Rangers. The City of Manchester Stadium, Rangers versus Zenit St. Petersburg in the final of the UEFA Cup. A match that somehow, inexplicably, Rangers lost. Did you think, as many did, that the Zenit boss, none other than Dick Advocaat, the little general himself, might have done the right thing and gone easy on Rangers, who were, let's face it, the club that made him?
No, Chick, no. Knowing wee Dick as I knew him, there was no way he would have done that. Wee Dick was an experienced campaigner, but we weren't intimidated because Advocaat was still 2 years younger than the man giving the team talk in our dressing room. Our centre-half, Davy Weir.
And Dick Advocaat himself well remembers the night of that famous final in Manchester.
What? No. After the match, I bumped into Barry Ferguson in the toilet. He was flushing his loser's medal down the pan. And he says to me, well played, Gaffer. And by the way, who was that wee striker you had? He was brilliant. I says to him, I'll shave him. And Barry says, no, it's just because the hairs are dead itchy when they grow back in. There you go, that's a wee little joke. I'm here till Tuesday.
Anyway, Barry, like Pythagoras working a set square, turning full circle and revolving around 365 degrees to the present day of the now, these days you're still involved in football in the Scottish Lowland League, where you continue to inspire the new generation of Scottish managers like Livy's Davy Martindale.
Oh, aye, for guys like me, it's guys like him, do things like that, you know, with the players like them that inspires you to do things yourself, like myself has went and done. And fair plays to Barry, because he doesn't need to do that, you know. But no, Barry's putting some back of what he took out the game, so good for him, because by studying Barry, you know, like folks like me can learn about players and tactics and how to be a right greeting-faced moaner. No.
Now, Barry, before you go, we threw open the lines of communication and were inundated with correspondence. The people asked the Chico to ask you, the Bazza, the people's questions. Sanjay from Livingston jumped onto social media to ask, as the Scottish player who has played more games in Europe than anyone, what is your favourite ever goal in European competition?
Oh, that's a tough one, Sanjay, know what I mean? Favourite ever goal in European competition? Yeah, I think in terms of the enjoyment it gave me, I'd have to say Porto's third against Celtic in the UEFA Cup final in Seville.
And Graham from Inverness emailed to ask, having achieved so much in the game, is there anything on Barry Ferguson's bucket list?
Aye, Graham, there is. At Kelty, we're needing a new bucket for our magic sponge.
Barry Ferguson, as an official inductee into the Only an Excuse Chico's Hall of Fame, the mic is now yours. And remember, loud and proud.
Well, looking back, I sometimes feel my playing career lasted forever and was also over in a second. And in that time, I've had my ups and downs, but see, that's the thing about football, you know, you never know what's coming next. You can go through an entire game without a kick of the ball, and then when that kick comes, it's a header. But listen, it's all about contrast. It's all about yin and yang. You know what I mean?
Barry Ferguson, simply the best. And that was Only an Excuse, Chico's Hall of Fame. Thank you for listening and downloading. It's been an odyssey of a journey of a trip with multiple twists and turns. But for now, this is me, Chick Young, standing where I am, which is here, talking into a mic, which is there, signing off, saying sayonara and see yous later.